So today I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about some mods that we don't have. Typically I'm showing you mods that are coming, maybe a work in progress by developers, or even just newly released ones. But today I'm going to talk about some things that maybe nobody has started to work on yet. If you're a mod author, maybe you'll find inspiration in this video. If you're somebody else, maybe you're just watching it for entertainment. But regardless, these mods are all going to be existing for Fallout New Vegas. This pretty much means they are largely possible in Fallout 4, and it's just simply that nobody is really taking out the time to make them, or maybe they just didn't feel it was super necessary for the game. Starting things off, we do have weapon mods expanded. So I know a big reason why this doesn't exist in Fallout 4 just yet, and that's because obviously the weapon customization system was totally overhauled. You could change more about a weapon now than you ever could before, but still, in principle, we really don't have anything like weapon mods expanded. What this mod does is basically expand the existing weapon mods available for a ton of different weapons. Some of them have really custom and cool unique ones like a proton axe, or even some of the other ones are a little bit simpler, like different chokes for different shotguns, basically changing the way the spread works with the game. The options we have for Fallout 4 right now is more or less just going to be expanding the options you do have based on the vanilla weapon mods. So if Gun X typically can't use weapon mod 2, now it can use weapon mod 2 due to that mod. What I'm really looking for is a mod that actually adds in new weapon mods. There's a ton of cool new features and ideas that could exist through this. Different choke options for different shotguns, having some cool custom axes like a proton axe or a photon axe. Although a lot of the different mods added in through weapon mods expanded are pretty redundant because they already exist in Fallout 4 in some way, there's still a lot that aren't included whatsoever. I just find it really surprising that no one's gone through and, despite getting this much more expansive weapon mod system, actually added to it all that much. I don't know, maybe you guys are satisfied with the current weapon modification system. I largely am too, but that's not what really modding's for. It's meant to kind of go over the top and push the limits of the game, which it doesn't really seem like anyone's done in this category. So this one's really simple, there's not much to show for it, but this is going to be called More Perks. What it's going to do is just add in more perks to the game. There are a few mods that do things very similar to this. There's actually one mod I know of right now that basically adds a new level to a few different perks in the game, but it basically is just more or less a stat boost to the existing thing. So if it increased your weapon damage by 80%, now it does it by 100%, etc, etc. The special tree was really overhauled in Fallout 4, and I could see how that could deter a lot of people, but I definitely think there is still some potential here to really incorporate some cool and unique perks. All the mods that have really even come close to attempting this were normally add-ons to other mods, maybe adding in a perk here and there, but there's not too many options as far as kind of complete overhauls. You're just really adding in a bunch of new things in all the different special categories. I think this would be a great way to really change up the game. Obviously, the perk tree for a lot of people is not as good as it was in previous games. I know a lot of people really miss skills. It was kind of an added way to kind of define your character, and now playing through Fallout 4 a few times, you kind of have a few builds that you probably go back to time and time again. And there's kind of a few perks out there that are almost necessary that you have to take every single time. I think it's something that's actually being worked on now through Fallout Cascadia, but kind of just reverting back to the system we had in Fallout New Vegas. But I definitely think adding in new and unique perks into Fallout 4 is something that no one really has taken on yet, but would be a pretty interesting option. And finally, we do have Claws. So this is kind of more of an example rather than the idea behind it. More or less, Fallout 4 doesn't have many mods that add in totally new creatures into the world and really into the leveled list. There are very few mods that do this. The only ones that I could really think of are by M150, and more or less they add in kind of weird creatures, things that don't necessarily fit into the lore super well. Like some of them are dolphins with machine guns, and maybe you're really into that, but if you really like a proper playthrough, it kind of feels out of place fighting a dolphin with the machine gun. New Vegas and even Fallout 3 had quite a few different options in this category. I'm only choosing Claws because I think it's a really great example of what could be done. It's a crossover between Cazadors as well as Deathclaws, which is a very deadly and scary combo, but also came out really good looking. It's something that kind of fits into the lore. It makes sense to appear in the world, very similar to something like a Gator Claw, but at the same time, Fallout 4 really doesn't have too many options like this. Adding in new and unique, but and creatures that really just made sense to appear throughout the world, whether they be from previous Fallouts, whether they just be from the lore itself, or something totally unique like a Claw that just kind of makes sense. Kind of funny, one of the top comments on one of my old videos was addressing this same issue. I already compiled the list to make this video, and I just thought it was kind of funny that someone was mentioning that while I was about to make a video on it. But yeah, that's pretty much gonna wrap it up. What do you guys think about this? Do you think these are mods that we don't really need, that maybe I totally missed the fact that they exist already? Let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are. Are there other mods that you think are really lacking from Fallout 4 that should be added? As always, I hope you guys enjoyed. I thank you for watching, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.